Excellent. Very good afternoon to everybody. And once again, a very warm welcome to our Business Spotlight interview series. My name is Ron Maycock, and I'm the owner of Action Coach Castleford and also of Business Performance UK. And I'm delighted this afternoon to be joined by Jashan Patel. Very good afternoon to you, Jashan.
Hi Ron, how are you doing?
Yeah, very good indeed. So Jashan is the founder and director of Moonspring Golf, which is a portable pop-up crazy golf offering. And we'll be hearing lots more from Jashan in just a few moments. But before we did that, really just wanted to explain what the purpose of these interviews actually are. So we're surrounded by some amazing businesses in our region. They're each on their own journeys, and these interviews give us a chance to share their achievements, spotlight what they're actually doing, and we do this all in the name of abundance, so that more and more people can get to hear about these business offerings, and it doesn't just have to be people located in a local vicinity. So it's for the benefit of everyone, and we do it in the name of abundance. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Jashan. Jashan, tell me a little bit more about Moonspring Golf.
Perfect, thank you very much, Ron. So yeah, Moonspring Golf. We are in our infancy. So we officially launched a couple of months ago, and we at the moment we serve the local community here in, I suppose, Wakefield, West Yorkshire. We do have ambitions of going global, but as I say, Rome wasn't built in a day, so one step at a time will get us on the way. But yeah, fundamentally, as you've rightly mentioned, we are a portable crazy golf business, and founded on, I suppose, a few premises of number one, having fun, and number two, getting people collaboratively, I suppose, sharing experiences, creating stories and memories. Because I think, from my perspective in life, it's experiences and memories that really carry you forward. So yes, our core product is Crazy Portable Golf, but it's really about bringing people together in a collaborative and inclusive way. Moonspring itself, as a product of Crazy Golf, it encompasses everybody really, regardless of age. So yeah, that's a little bit about Moonspring.
And is this something that you just came across? Was it something that you came up with the concept and then got it made? Or was this an offering that you came across and just went, this would be brilliant to actually introduce to our area?
That's a very good question. So originally I'd had an idea very similar to this, probably about 10 years ago. And for one reason or another, I didn't end up going with it. And the back end of last year, the idea came back to me. And I always like to say the universe conspires. And with it coming back to me for a second time, I'm like, I've got to look into this a bit more. So I can't sit here and say I'm the only person out there doing this. But from my perspective, in terms of the customer care, the delivery, and that is a real focus for me. And as I say, it's about building local. So really focusing on my customers and community who I can serve here in the Wakefield and I suppose wider West Yorkshire region as well. So yeah, as I say, it's not totally novel, but in terms of our journey and the customer journey that I want to take people on over the next, I suppose, the coming years, through innovation of various different products as well. Yeah, I do hope, as I say, we've got that global outreach at some point in time as well.
No, excellent. And give me an idea, especially for people watching this, pop-up crazy golf. Give us some sort of visual context of that. How big are these things? What are we talking? What's it look like?
Yeah, I suppose one step back from before I answer that question, it would be in terms of coming back to where the idea came from. And a lot of people have played crazy golf at some point in time in their life, and they've got that seaside memory or holiday memory. So part of what I'm doing is trying to recreate that. And I suppose in terms of size and space, that sort of thing, the product is fully versatile. So it generally speaking, it's a 9-hole setup. And whatever the space, we can make it fit. So if you to imagine, you potentially got a garden party, we can make it You've got a corporate office. Again, we can make it fit because various different halls can be set up in different rooms if there's limited space. But obviously, if you've got enough space, we can do that in one place as well. And I suppose a popular market for us at the minute is weddings as well. So obviously more so in the summer, you can use it outdoors, but that's not to say in the winter if your venue is big enough that you can't use it indoors as well. So generally speaking, if we were to quantify in terms of space and you wanted it all in one room, 50 square meters.
Yeah. Okay. It just gives me an idea of how big it is, and I take it, is there much sort of installation, or is it a pretty easy construction of the holes? And in the same vein, is that something that you have to do, or is it here's a box, off you go kind of thing? Here's some instructions, build it yourself, and we'll pick it up.
Good, again, very good question. So if I was to describe in terms of the amount of space that it takes, it fills a transit van.
Mm-hmm.
So it's by no means is it small, as much as it sounds pop up. But in terms of that installation, as you mentioned, that is everything's done by us.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to say this is a fun bit because it's like a human jigsaw. So each mat is put together just like a jigsaw. So we've got it set up within 30 to 45 minutes. And
Brilliant.
our belief is that we do it for you because you've got other things to worry about. You've got obviously guests coming. You might have other suppliers to manage, depending on obviously the nature of the event. So we want to take that away from you, and not it's our job to set it up and take it down, and for you just to have fun.
I'm guessing that the appeal of some of that in terms of the speed to set it up, you could start an event or a function, and people would have no idea it was there until they came out, and then it was there, and you're thinking, when did that happen? How did I miss that on the way in? So you could have that sort of novel sort of impact kind of thing, I guess, of setting it up whilst people are already in, and then having it as a breakout kind of area or whatever. So interesting. You mentioned sort of weddings and obviously for direct to consumer, for people doing their own sort of events, and also for the corporate. In terms of the target that you envisage as you move forward, is this more for formal events and sort of corporate markets, or do you see this being very much, for weddings and the likes?
So again, very good question, and I've had that. I've had the question a few times, I suppose, from various different parties. And for me, it's an all-encompassing product. So I don't want it to be the whole nature of it is it's inclusive. So I want it to cover the whole range, everywhere from children's parties up to potentially getting into care homes as well. And the reason for that is, especially the care home side of things, with it being such an activity that it doesn't require very much physical exertion, and with assistance, people can play it. And a lot of people, I suppose, in those homes as well, have probably played golf at some point in time in their life. And it's about rekindling those memories. And again, with same with the corporates and weddings, it's an all, as I say, it's an all-inclusive product, um, and sport where it gets people physically and mentally active as well. So the mental health element is something that's very important to me. Again, from some of the customers that we've already have, I see those people who potentially, if this wasn't there, they'd be sat on the sidelines,
Mm-hmm.
and suddenly it gets them that inner competitive nature within them. It gets that flowing as well, just gets the creative juices and conversation. So we've had it at a number of networking events as well. So we do, as much as we've got the full package, we can hire out per hole as well. So depending if you've got very limited space
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing some sort of networking event, we would be able to facilitate that as well, depending on obviously the locality and various particulars.
I was going to say, some of these business events, you have people with, spin the wheel, and what it drops on,
Yeah.
is a promotion or something like that. In the same way, you could have it as, we've got a golf hole here, and the best people or the best lowest scores will be put into the pot of potential winners, and there you go, kind of thing. Make it interactive. So if people are renting this, and so typically, is this rented for the day? Do you get it for the day? Is it done per hour? Could it be done by both if it's not currently using that model?
So yeah, generally speaking, it's per day. But I suppose with us being a young at heart business and in our infancy, we can tailor make it to obviously your event. So we're not a large corporate where this is it, and you've got to buy what's on the shelf. But actually, if people want to reach out and have a conversation, and I suppose explore the opportunities, and obviously if you're hiring over multiple days, if you've got some sort of themed events going on, there are obviously discounts available for that as well, because we don't incur the same costs of going somewhere multiple times. So yeah, for us, it would be a case of if you want to approach it like an event planner type perspective, drop us a call. We can obviously tell you what's best for you, how many holes. So it's really analyzing it from that perspective as well. So some of the customers I've been speaking to, I suppose, vary in nature. Some are community foundations, some are shopping centres, some, I suppose, rugby clubs. So there's a lot of ongoing conversations at the moment, and we're just talking about how we can do various different things and events in the run up to next year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And from a business capacity, where are you and where do you see it in terms of how many events on the same day that you could actually do? So, I guess it boils down to how many kits that you actually have, how many vans can take them out. But where do you see that going? What do you see as that capacity? Where would you like that to get to?
Yeah, a good question. I suppose where I'm at currently is we could probably only do one a day. And that's purely down to me being able to give that customer the value. So we have obviously the day price, and the customers can use it for that full day. So right now, yes, it's one, but in terms of in time to come, there's probably two or three different avenues which I'm looking at the moment, and that, as you've rightly mentioned, can be to buying additional kit and service those additional needs myself. But further down the line, potentially open up more sites across the country, as well as potentially look down that the franchising route as well. But for me, one of the things that I'm really looking at keeping, whichever avenue I take, is local people on the ground. Because for me, what's been really successful up here is networking. So you become the go-to person in your region, and people are always buying from a person. Not necessarily is it yes, a site down in London and it's just the management team, but actually there's somebody who's really invested in the growth, and I suppose the reasons why Moonspring came about.
And I mean, it's interesting because one of the routes that you could go is working with the hospitality industry in the same way that they have pop-up bars and have themed pop-up bars at this time of the year, especially. That this could be a themed pop-up in the truest sense, where it's not just the pop-up of the golf, but it's the sort of food and beverage that goes along with it, and it combines with other sort of offerings. So I can see that being a very good route to sort of growth, rather than necessarily just looking at the end customer as the only opportunity for growth. I suppose partnering with other people may prove, it'll be a strain in terms of your capacity, because you'll be suddenly, in demand for more things, but there is scope to do that down the line. So
I definitely agree with that. And I suppose one thing I forgot to mention on is what we can do is, if you are running specific, if customers are running specific events for their clients as well, we can tailor each rental as well. So that might be, I suppose, signage or promotional messages. We could add various different what's the word I'm looking for? Obstacles.
Hmm.
So we can bespoke it as well for specific companies and with their logo and branding. So that is something that we do as well.
Excellent. So you said it's relatively early in its journey. What's the end goal? Where do you want to take this to? I know you said that it could be franchising or it could be. So at the moment, is this full-time job for yourself, or is this part-time along with other jobs that you're doing? Or
So
and
yeah,
do you see it, if that is the case, being the sole route of your revenues and incomes?
yeah, so as it stands, it is part time.
Hmm.
I suppose what the future holds, I'm not perfectly sure at this point in time. But from an outreach perspective, you could. I was just thinking about this. I think yesterday or the day before, I want to be that go-to company. So if you want to call it like a global portable experience company, so if somebody thinks of global portable experiences, Moonspring pops to mind.
Hmm.
And it's as I say, how that takes shape and form um, remains to be seen over the coming, I suppose, weeks, months, and years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I normally around this time I turn around to people and say, so what makes you unique? I'm not going to ask that question because to me, as you say, there may be others doing something remotely similar.
Yeah,
Um, but I've not come across it. So this
yeah,
is pretty unique, or if it's not, then it hasn't hit full exposure into this sort of neck of the woods or anything like that. And it's
yeah,
a great idea, I guess, in terms of um, where you're going and how it's sort of come about. If there was one area, even in the early stages, if there was one area of your business that you could just, I don't know, wave a magic wand and just go, right, that bit is now absolutely sorted.
yeah.
Where would you wave that wand over?
I suppose majority of people would probably say this, and I suppose for me, as you mentioned as well, it's a unique. I've not heard about it and not experienced it. So for me, it's around the customer, the lead and customer generation. So
Hmm.
um having that pipeline full. So actually, let's say for instance, I'm looking at 2024. I've got the kit that's hired out for 365 days of the year. What that allows me to do then is actually focus purely on the delivery, purely on the customer service, and really engineering that so we can keep on delivering the best in class in terms of value and our proposition. And that will then allow me to have enough money, so to speak, in the bank to really think about product innovation.
Hmm.
So, yes, I've got the golf, but there are other ideas that I've got in mind as well. Then we have, I suppose, a complementary all year round offering. So, yes, right now, if you're a certain type of business, you might not be able to hire a golf because you'd have to have it outside. But actually, if I've got another product which you can use inside, let's have it that way. So I'm probably looking at hopefully over the next few years, 4 or 5 different products. So from a customer journey perspective, every quarter within their business, they've got a different product they can utilize from me.
Yeah, no, and as you say, whilst it's novel, and once everyone's experienced it or whatever, then they're looking for the next innovation, and just to make it a variation on the theme, is
Yeah,
is a great way of doing it. And that said, I think you've got to go quite a long way before you saturate the appetite for crazy golf. Especially in a corporate
exactly.
environment where you can get people
Yeah,
together. And the thing I absolutely love about this business, the what I'm picking up, if you don't mind me saying, Jashan, is
yeah,
is this is based first and foremost on having some fun.
yeah.
This has got to be a
But
fun product, and it's
yeah,
something different, and it's something that people can interact with. And even if you've had no experience and no interest in playing golf, you can still
yeah.
have fun doing this, even in an office environment or whatever. So it's putting the fun into what could otherwise be quite serious environments and things like that. As you say, for the care industries and for mental health and things like that, has other benefits. You know, the impact of having fun covers everything outside of personal and business and general life. So thank you for that. So no, really great. So it's actually it's bringing us towards the end of the interview. But I'll throw it back to yourself, Jashan. Is there anything that you'd like to add? Anything that we've not really covered that you want to pop in there before we sort of wrap things up?
I suppose, yeah, obviously I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you for having me on this, but it's probably just adding to that fun element of it, because I think that is the heart of a business. It is having fun. I think life is all too serious, and there are elements of life that are obviously serious, and you have to act as a grown-up at those points in time. But I came up with my own. I don't know if it's my own, but I'll put it in inverted commas anyway. But I think Peter Pan says words to the effect of never grow up, but learn how to act in public.
Mm-hmm.
And as I say, the nature of this business is, yes, having fun, but really combating those, I suppose, real life issues in terms of mental and physical health as well. But yeah, aside from that, I think obviously we've covered a lot. And yeah, but once again, just thank you for having me as well.
Well, thank you for sharing. I say it's an exciting journey. It's certainly a novel offering, and I can see it really, really catching on and getting a lot of traction quite quickly. So watch this space if you're watching this interview, and you're thinking about what to do to improve engagement with your team and with people within your business. It would be a great thing, and also a great way if you're hosting different events. So yeah, fantastic offering. So that does bring us towards the or basically to the end of the interview. So really big thank you for Jashan for sharing. It does sound like a fantastic journey that's coming through, because he's smiling through the whole of it. So the fun is being shared. So thank you for sharing. All that sort of remains to be said is, if you're watching this, if you're wanting to share your business journey, if you're just like Jashan and you want to get some more traction, more marketing, more brand awareness, just simply get in touch. When we post these videos, there'll always be instructions of how to get in touch, so that you can book in your own interview. And as I say, it is in the name of abundance. It's so that you can get your brand and name out there. So thank you again for everyone who's been watching. Thank you to Jashan, and thank you for everyone who's been supporting the Business Spotlight interview series. We'll see you soon. Take care.